So, it's August 2021. You've just received your results. They're not good enough for you to get into university. You've got 3 weeks before university starts again to make a decision on what to do next. What do you do? Welcome back, guys, to another video on the channel. I hope you've been enjoying all the uploads we've been putting out. Hopefully they've been useful. I've been trying to put out quite a few videos, try and get a lot more people watching them, which is lovely to see the subscriber count going up. We're 136 currently. So if you really want to join our little med family, our little StudyTube family, please hit the subscribe button down below. If you really enjoyed the video, smash it so I can make more videos. And it's really cool to see a lot of you guys watching these videos and enjoying them, hopefully. And if you want to stay tuned and you want me to make more videos about interview preparation, universities, BMAT, UCAT, MMIs, anything, even if it's non-medically related, any university, any sort of interview preparation, just smash the subscribe button down below. Yeah, and it'd put a smile on my face as well. So thank you very much for subscribing. To those of you who've already subscribed and those of you who are thinking of, go smash it down below. Now, today we're talking about what to do if your teacher assessed grades aren't good enough. Now, it's a situation that people will find themselves in invariably this year. A lot less people, because this year there are no government algorithms to, downgrade anyone. But universities still have a certain number of people that they can have in their course, so they can't just allow anyone in, which means some people will not get in because of their grades. Now, unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that it's very difficult to see what to do. But I'm going to be giving you a few things, 3 things that you can do, hopefully, as a next step. So, whether it is thinking about going to university or not going to university, here are 3 things to do in case your grades just aren't good enough to get into university. So, tip number 1, resit. Now, this is an interesting one. In 2015, 2016, 2017, 2012, 11, 13, 14, 2008, 2009, all those years, resits were a very common thing. And the process is, you don't get your grades. First of all, you didn't do well enough. So what you do is you revise for the next year, you resit your exams, and most likely you'll get into university next year. That's the standard, pathway. The issue is, last year, obviously, a lot of people wanted to resit, and now their situation this year is going to be quite worrying because they don't have any exams to sit. So how exactly are they going to get grades? Now for this year, we have no idea what the situation is going to be next year. Potentially it'll be exams again. So you want to be prepared. So resits are a really good idea to do. And resits, I would say, are more for people whose grades just are not good enough at all. So let's say your university wants A, B, A. But you got in your teacher assessed grades C, D, A. That's just not good enough. No university's going to take that because you've got a D. So you need to resit your exams. And for those people, I would say just go for the resit. Wait for the government to release their sort of guidelines on how resits are going to work this year, whether you can, appeal, whether there's going to be any sort of appeals procedures, which is unlikely this year because even if there is an appeals procedure, university still won't be able to take you. So I would say potentially wait for an appeal. If there's a procedure going on, go for it. See if you can appeal your grade. If not, go for the resit. There'll be some sort of way to do a resit next year. So always go for that and start revising the next day. Make sure you don't waste time, crying and being sad over your grades. Yes, you didn't get into university, but you got a year now, purely dedicated to revision now. You don't have any sort of schoolwork going on, you don't have extracurricular going on, you just have to revise for your exam, and you've got an entire year. There's no excuse to not get 3 A's really in A-levels. If you've got a whole year for revision, you can get full marks in your exams, and I'm not over-exaggerating. If you've got 1 entire year to revise for an exam, that's more than enough time to revise each of your textbooks in full detail, do every single past paper there is, because you've got so much time and you've got nothing else to worry about. So do the resit. I'd highly recommend that. That's the safest option, I'd say. Option number 2, go for your insurance university. Now this obviously only applies if your grades were just not good enough to get into your top choice university. Your second choice university is actually probably one of the best options around because it's really safe to go for that. You don't want to unnecessarily wait and take a year out. When you go back to university, you're going to be 1 year older than everyone. You're going to have missed out on a year of uni life and then a year of work life, and then it's a knock-on effect. It's a butterfly effect, and so you really want to stick to the timetable. If you can get to a university this year and it's just your second choice, go for it. You never know how good your second choice university is. For example, if I didn't get into Imperial Medicine, I would have taken King's College Medicine. I would no way have I waited for next year, to try at Imperial again, because it's just too risky. As much as I love Imperial College and as much as I, would never give it up for another university, it's just too risky to reapply. You don't know what's going to happen next year. You don't know whether you're going to get in again. You don't know how your exams are going to go. So if you get into your second choice university, take it. There's nothing worse than risking the entirety of your next year and banking on your first choice university again, because if they reject you again, it's really scary. You don't want to have to resit twice. If you're resitting and you don't get into your first choice university again, and that's the only reason you resat, you're in a dangerous place, my friend. You don't want to have to resit twice. You don't want to have to go through the application twice. So just take your second choice university and just go. So many people in the world will give so much just to go to your second choice university. You should be really grateful that you've got into that university, because it's probably a fantastic university. The only situation in which you might not want to take your second choice is if you're a medical applicant and your insurance is your biomed offer. So in that scenario, okay, potentially you might not take it because you really want to be a doctor. In that scenario, fair enough, maybe reset again. The only other scenario I could think of is if you're an Oxford or Cambridge applicant and you're set on going to Oxbridge. I would say if you're an Oxbridge applicant and you didn't get into Oxbridge this year, don't try again. Because the only reason Oxbridge applicants get in second time round is usually because they didn't get an offer. Their grades were fantastic, but they just didn't get the offer. If you're an applicant who's got an offer but your grades weren't good enough, that's worrying, because then you've got to reset the whole Oxbridge application process again, and you've also got to get your grades, and that's a high risk maneuver. If you just didn't get the Oxbridge offer but you've got phenomenal grades, yes, go for Oxbridge again, because you've already got your grades. You can spend the entirety of the next few months on your Oxbridge application, learning the interview, and Oxbridge will be impressed that you've done your A-levels already, you're really set on going there. In that scenario, go for it. I would actually recommend resitting and going for Oxbridge again. But if you just didn't get the grades, don't go for Oxbridge, go for your second choice university. Now, the final thing I'd recommend you guys doing is to take a gap year. A gap year is a really underrated option, because people think that, taking a gap year has this, stigma around it of being someone who just didn't get into university, wasting their life, taking a year out, traveling, it's not worth it. That's a lie. It's a complete lie, and a gap year is really useful, and it can be useful for any degree. If you want to take a law degree, you can either spend time, traveling the world, learning about law in different countries, or spending time in a lawyer's office, and picking up things that, your fellow applicants that next year wouldn't pick up on. Or if you're a medical applicant, travel, see medical hospitals around the world, see the disparity that happens in countries in South America, in, places like Africa. Go traveling, do some, learning, enrich yourself, or spend time in a GP surgery, in a ward as a year, volunteer. That's a super strong thing to have in an application. So if you want to take a gap year, go for it. It's a really good thing, and especially if you're planning on applying to university next year, a gap year can look really good on your university application. It shows that you're committed to the subject and you also really love the university. And the fact that you took a gap year because you really want to go to that university, it shows a lot about yourself. So I'd highly recommend taking the gap year. So that's everything I can think of. There's 3 options for you if your GCSE grades aren't good enough. So if you've got any other questions, any other snippets of comments, any advice, anything that you want me to make a video about, drop them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to do that. If you've got any other questions about GCSE grades, feel free to drop them in the comments below. And also check out my other video. I'll leave a card at the top of the video. But I made another video about how to ace your GCSE grades, so you don't have to be in this scenario at all. So hopefully that's a useful video. If you guys want to go check that out, go and have a look. It'll be in the description below as well. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you go smash the subscribe button and hit the like button. Take us to 200 subs. We want to get there so we can do another Q&A, which would be super cool for me. And put a smile on my face to see you guys subscribe. So make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. It takes like 5 seconds, so go do that now. And also hit me up on my social media if you've got any questions, anything you want to ask me. Yeah, I'll put them down below here as well. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope you do well in your GCSE grades, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.